goes, I am the only black person who hates Barack Obama. I'm like, yeah, that's probably true, lady. And then she told me that Michelle Obama is not his wife, but that's his cousin. And they lived together for a show because she knows this when she was friends with Barack Obama back in California. Now, do you think for somebody who sleeps under a newspaper blanket, she could be a little bit better informed? Maybe like wake up and read that every now and then. Thanks for the giggle over there. I appreciate your giggling. I appreciate all kinds of laughter. I've been in a relationship for like 2 years. Anybody else long-term relationship?
Oh, God.
Yeah, you know what I learned? Like, relationships are a lot like children's books. Like, in the beginning, it's like, honey, make love to me, and then we're going to spend the rest of our lives together. And then after a while, it's like Dr. Seuss books where it's like, no, I will not blow you here nor there. I will not blow you anywhere. I will not blow you on a boat, I will not blow you with a goat. I started dating Cinderella, now I just got the conch in the hat. I don't know, relationships are everything, aren't they? Why do you guys spend your whole time like looking for Prince Charming, you women? You looking for your Prince Charming out there? No. You looking for your Snow White then? Who are you looking for? Anyway, I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm like, I just want to find my Prince Charming. Prince Charming was a fucking creep, alright? That dude's walking through the forest, and he's like, oh my god, this chick's asleep. You want to find that guy, go to a frat house. I know him. He will find you and fuck you while you're sleeping. Oh man, I was going to write some good jokes for tonight, but I was stoned and my pen was like 15 feet away. I'll remember them. Nope. I am not a good friend. My buddy, he tried to confide in me recently. We were walking home and he goes, do you have a secret language you talk to your cat in? I was like, no. Me neither. He totally does, that fucking freak. He's also like a bit weird. Like he's a germaphobe. And he's like, dude, I can't ride the subway. Every time I ride the subway, all I can think about is every guy's jerking off, and then they don't wash their hands and touch everything. And I'm like, well, you're not a germaphobe, you're gay. Because you spend too much time thinking about guys jerking off. Thank you. I like to hear glasses clinking when I do stand-up. That's really a preference of mine. You know what the worst job in the world probably is? There's probably some wine drinkers here tonight, right? Yeah. I think the worst job in the world is probably being a winemaker at Cristal, because you spend your whole entire life dedicated to learning about the grape. You spend 10 years going to college and learning about wine and how to make wine, and then you work your way up through Roederer Champagne and you become a head winemaker. And you're only allowed on certain years when the rain is just right and the sun shines just right to make a bottle called Cristal Champagne. And the grapes must come from this tiny little area, this tiny little piece of champagne. And then you go home at the end of the night and you turn on MTV. And all you see is, oh, ski, 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 ski. And there's your baby being poured over somebody's asshole. And it's gotta be the worst thing in the world, baby. I think I'd rather walk into a strip club and like see my daughter like on a pole. Like, alright, I'm gonna end on this one. I'm just gonna be dirty tonight, fuck it. I think the worst product in the world is probably warming sex lube, you know? Seriously, like, if you're fucking a pussy that's cold, you should probably get the fuck out of the morgue right now. You know? My dick's no thermometer, but I'm pretty sure when I put it in something, it's 98.6 degrees. And that, my friends, is pretty warm. All right, everybody, have a good show. We got a lot of great acts coming up. Bring back up Jason and I will be at the bar.
Give it up. All right, baby. Yeah.
New York City Chinese right there. Hey, you guys drinking up tonight? Drink up, drink up. I was here last night. Y'all can drink. I don't know about no damn PUI. Drink, please. You know why? Because I was here last night and I got fucking, I thought I was toasted and I got pulled over. Cop was like, if you make drinking tonight, matter of fact, I was, son. Get out of the car. So I will. He said, wait, where were you? So I was at Mobby. He said, oh, get the fuck out of here. Because they ordered the drinks out, that's what I'm trying to say. So, drink up, so I'll take a few. Anyway, speaking of my car, it fucking sucks. I got dissed by a hitchhiker last week. You remember that snowstorm? You know, she was walking, heel broke, she got dog bites, fucking 3 feet of snow, and I pull up, hit my horn. Because my car sucked. Anyway. Alright, so we're moving along, I have a young lady coming up. I'm very excited to have her. She drove all the way down from Boston. She's known all over Boston, and she's spreading her way down to NYC because that's what it's all about. So we brought her here, let her do a little warm up. Miss Amy T. Let's give it up.
Thank you very much. Give it up for all the comics you've seen so far tonight, right? Excellent. I've been sitting back and I've been watching the show, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, the one common thread that I share with all the boys that's been on the show so far is none of us date guys. So you're all on board the bus? Take this bitch for a ride. All right. I was just in the ladies' room before the show, and I'm standing at the sink, and I'm washing my hands. And I'm reading the sign on the mirror that says the employees must wash their hands before returning to work, you know? And every time I read that sign, it makes me laugh. Because what about the general public? Right? As part of maybe like routine hygiene? Because every single one of us has been in a room where someone will just leave without washing their hands. They'll flush and rush, if you will. So I always thought a more appropriate sign should say, hey, you nasty beast, rinse the tips. I have a friend of mine that comes over my house and she doesn't wash her hands after she goes to the bathroom. Then she touches all my shit. I don't like that. Like if I invite you over for dinner and you ask what you can bring, it's not hepatitis C. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Before I got into comedy, I'd always dreamed of being the first white female rapper. Feminine. But after I played a song I recorded with my mom, she was shocked. She was like, Amy T, that was wonderful. I usually don't understand the word those people say, but you, I understood every word. That's how I knew I sucked. And I just recently quit smoking pot. I had to quit smoking pot. And it wasn't just my sole decision, it was actually the officer that pulled me over to help me make that decision. And he pulled me out of the car after he pulled me over, and he's like, you know what, I want you to look directly in my eyes. And I was like, officer, the only eyes I can see is my left one looking at my right. So this is the first time I've ever performed down here in Jersey. This is fun. You guys are a great crowd. Thank you very much. And before I ever do any kind of performance, like especially in a new environment, I always like to kind of get the comics together and play this game called Who Would You Fuck? Like, I don't know if you've ever played this game, but what you do is like, for me, it's like kind of like getting ready for the show and like a woke team, like kind of like a huddle thing or something, like I don't know. And so this is what I did. So I don't know if you've ever played it, but what you do is you go around in a circle, you do shots, and then you tell everybody who you fucked, right? So it gets to Jay's turn, and you do the shot, and he's like, Amy T, Halle Berry. That's a good one, Jay, right? So we do the shot. And then it gets to Rob Ryan's turn, and we do the shot, and he was like, Amy T, oh my God, Maggie Gyllenhaal. I'm like, that's another good one, right? So then it gets to my turn, and we do the shot, and I was like, John Bonet. And she would have been 18 by now. She was a really good dancer. Still too soon.